Thank you, Pam. It's really a great pleasure to be here today. And I can feel the energy, the excitement, and the passion, how women we can work together with our men fellows to make our world a better place for all. I want to start my presentation by quoting one of my favorite quotes. There is a saying, they say, women hold up the other half of the sky. But what's the current situation? According to the latest figure from the United Nations, it will take another 300 years to achieve gender equality in the world we are living now. That's really shocking, right? I feel very disappointed. And we're looking at three different major areas. Safety. Every 11 minutes, there will be one woman or girl who are killed in her family as a result of domestic violence. And looking at education, there are about 15 million of girls or women who will never have the chance to read or write compared with 10 million boys. And when we're looking at finance, that's even more shocking. 47 million of women in the world, they have to live under 1.9 US dollars a day. Imagine, Tesco, Sainsbury, they all have this wonderful lunch deal. I think it's something like £5, less than £5. You have, snacks, a drink, and sandwiches. And now, for one day, you have to choose between one of the three to make your own survival. How terrible it is. When we're looking at the global landscape of women in leadership position, that was even more, interesting. Over here, you can see women taking up leadership position predominantly in public schools, about 77%, and healthcare force, 71%. Public school heads, about 56%. That's around 20 different categories. Only 3 categories where women taking more leadership position than men. And then we're looking at in university leadership position, about 22% of university presidents are women. But if we're looking at across the whole business board here, if we're looking at, say, what are the percentage of women CEOs in top 1,000, ad tech companies, climate tech companies, and all the other startups, it's less than 15%. And if you want to look at, say, Fortune 500 CEOs in the world, which percentage of women is only 10%. 50 women out of 500 biggest companies in the world, they are women. And the most challenging bit is actually coming from energy sector, IT sector, unicorn startup, less than 4%. So clearly, there is lots of work to be done to make things happen. Part of the reason is financing. We know that the United States is one of the world's largest capital markets. And according to the latest figure from PitchBook, less than 2% of all VC funding went into female founders last year. That's even further drop from 4.4% the year before. So how can we get more women into leadership position? I think all of us care a lot about it. And the United Nations this year, their focus is on how to educate women living in the digital age to really utilize a whole range of innovation and the technological change to empower gender equality issues at the wider society. A little bit about me, as our wonderful host, Pan, has mentioned that. You can see that I was made in China, like a lot of product you can get in the markets, although I don't have a banner said made in China in the back of me. I was reinvented in the UK through education, so I'm very grateful for the life-changing opportunities. I came to Loughborough University of the UK in 2006. They have a very prestigious course in media studies, which has consistently ranked as #1 in this country. So there, I met a group of the world's leading professors who are really pioneering in new media studies. And as you can imagine, as a happy international students who contribute to part of the $30 billion US a year to the British economy, we consider ourselves as a happy cash cow. So, when you're a happy cash cow, you want to maximize your return for investment because we need to spend a little bit more money, than UK students to study in this country because UK students, their tuition fee is capped, where the international student fee is not really capped. So I was asking around in my department to every single professors I know what is going to be the next biggest thing, because I want to do my master dissertation, which is really groundbreaking and a world pioneer. And the final conclusion is metaverse. That was in 2006. But you know, having technology itself is far from enough. You need to really have proof of value rather than proof of concept. So what's the usability of this new technology that's going to benefit your business, that's going to benefit your organization? And the one particular area I'm familiar with as a happy cash cow is international education. So as a result, I did my master dissertation using Second Life, if some of you might still remember, the world's first metaverse platform in 2003, initiated by a San Francisco-based company called Linden Lab. So I was using Second Life, the metaverse platform, to develop international strategies for universities worldwide. It was a hit. And then I continued my research, but in an entirely different subject area, in civil engineering. So I was looking at using digital twin, another buzzword, in case you remember, in the metaverse environment to simulate and optimize construction, engineering, architectural projects, which I completed in 2012 on top of a full-time elected sabbatical position with the National Union of Students UK, in case you remember the happy days doing lots of parties and drinks in the student union with the NUS extra card. That's where I used to work for. So I was representing 1 million international and European students studying in this country. And that was a lot of fun because I have to fight against the Home Secretary, Theresa May, at that time, between 2010 and 12, on the immigration change. So that was a lot of interesting experience. But going back to my PhD research at that time, because lots of people don't understand what I was talking about. So I often got people come to me and said, Christina, how on earth did you get a full scholarship playing computer games every day? That sounds like the dream. And I have to tell them that it's not a computer games, it's really the next generation of the internet, which is more immersive, interactive, and intuitive. But they don't get it. They even give me a nickname. They said, Christina, you got a permanent head damage PhD in the metaverse. But they said, you don't need to worry too much because you're lucky you haven't got an MBA, because MBA can be stand for married but still available, which is not very ethical. So I feel very grateful. But you can see, for any kind of technology, you know, adoption always takes time. So now I'm really grateful to Meta and all the other big companies, because in 2021, suddenly Facebook changed the name into Meta, and there's worldwide sensation about metaverse. So I was thinking, oh, my time has eventually come, so no one is talking and saying that I'm crazy. But what was really interesting is, as you know, when the whole metaverse idea started in 1992 by Neil Stephenson, it's really talking about a VR-related, next generation experience of the world. But what's happening now, as I mentioned in my keynotes at the Economist Annual Summit about metaverse many months ago, the metaverse idea has increasingly become a convergence of a whole new range of technologies coming together to really form the next generation of the internet, to make our life better and more comfortable. And of course, one of the most important elements of the metaverse is, AI. But even looking in history, you can see that since 1956, the whole idea of AI started to come into being with the Dartmouth, conference. AI itself has been there for more than 50 years, and it got like 2 winters, already. So it's not coming just in one go. Everything takes time, especially when it comes to technology. So if you're looking around, actually AI has already been widely used in pretty much every single sectors: banking, finance, transport, retail, education, communication, gaming, media, hospitality, entertainment, you name it, it's there. So what's so different this time? I think it's really about the generative AI, the ability to have text pumped into text, into image, into video, into 3D models. And this is one of the predictions by Sequoia Capital, how the whole generative AI is going to have major impact cross all different kinds of multiple media in the years to come by 2030. So instead of saying generative AI sucked up all the investment away from lots of other exciting innovation of our time, generative AI actually become the most powerful engine to fast-track the whole development of the next generation digital of our world. For example, metaverse. So you see here, we can have text, prompt to produce like 3D avatars, 3D objects, 3D environments at a way which is never cheaper, faster, and easier for everyone to get involved, which is really powerful. And of course, there has been lots of discussion and say, if AI become a little bit too smart, and they surpass the intelligence of the human, just like the drama we recently see happening in OpenAI, who is going to be the next CEO? And we see going around circles. So Sam Altman was kicked out. And now we have a female lady who will be the interim. And then we got someone else external. And now it's back to Sam. So you see, we are worried about how to make a balance between commercial success and also AI ethics. It's never easy. So I think it doesn't matter what kind of digital future we are championing. We should always put people's needs, people's happiness, and well-being at the center of any kind of technology and digital future we are developing. That's why we were very lucky to work with Tampere municipal government in Finland to develop the world's first people-centered metaverse strategy, Vision 2040. And why Finland? According to lots of rankings, they have been always the happiest, country in the world for many years. But one thing I was very impressed when I visit Finland is they have really great child care benefits. I've been told by lots of my friends who are living in London, in big cities, once you have more than 2 babies, sometimes you start to thinking about, is it still worth it for me to go to a full-time job rather than stay at home to look after my baby? Because childcare is really so expensive to allow you to progress your career. But in Finland, I think they kept it at less than 200 euro a month. That's why they all immediately go back to work. That's why they have female prime ministers. They have so many female cabinet ministers, so many female leaders. Maybe in the UK, we should lobby the next government, whether it's Labour or Conservative, have a little bit more support for women. And then the economy will be so much better because we know how to spend money and we also know how to make money, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the key findings in our report. And there are 4 key areas I want to share with you. The first key areas is there will be more convergence of our physical and digital world. A lot of you probably heard the idea of digital twins, and it's happening at many different levels. The most fundamental level is happening at the place of citizen of every single one of them. So focus is on how to use digital twin to create predictive medicines and to champion a more healthy and dynamic lifestyle to increase your productivity. That's the most basic level. And the second level is on the built environment. So this research was conducted by EY, and using digital twin, there can be an increase of reducing carbon footprints by 50%, which is very significant. We all love our environment because I don't know about you, I'm traveling around the world all the time, and I feel everywhere I go, it's feeling hotter and hotter, and especially in the summer. I'm a little bit foodie, and I really like steamed dumplings. But you see, the issue is when you are going to become the steamed dumplings yourself, in the bamboo case, that's really terrible, right? And we don't want to see that happen. So maybe using digital twin can help to alleviate that a little bit. And the next level, which lots of people also start to talk about, is on the city level, especially for transport. So on the left, you can see it's the Shanghai airport, one of the world's busiest airports. They are using digital twin to better manage the air traffic control, which has been very effective. And on the right side is Wellington in New Zealand, where they can really use digital twin to optimize the whole traffic of the city to ensure there's less traffic jam. And also, if you happen to be driving, it's always a massive headache to try to find the parking space. And now using digital twin is so much easier. One level up is actually on the country level. So Singapore became the world's first digital twin country to looking at how to use like this technology with thousands of satellite images and also like 3D scanning technology of the whole country to put it in one digital platform to monitor that 24/7 with optimization. And they currently use this technology to position 350,000 like solar panels across the whole country to achieve their carbon neutral targets, which is powerful. And this one is really exciting. So European Commission is currently building a very powerful digital twin of the whole planet. And they are planning to finish that by 2030 and using this whole model of our Earth to prevent any extreme weather taking place in different parts of Europe and also allow policies, incentives to put in place to allow us really have a beautiful and sustainable future, which they call is a Green Deal by 2050, which will be very exciting. Of course, digital twin itself is a beautiful technology, but how can we drive the next generation of the user interface to make it really natural and intuitive? Different people will have different ideas. Of course, everyone is excited about Apple's Vision Pro, and I'm already thinking about get one order as soon as it becomes available, soon. But somebody else is going a little bit faster. For example, Elon Musk. I'm sure you probably see the news that in June this year, his exciting idea about putting a computer chips inside your brain was eventually approved by the US government. And he's currently looking for volunteers. So in case you have any friends or relatives, who are not very lucky to suffer some very serious medical conditions, say paralyzed, they are blind, or they are suffering from, aging-related disease like Alzheimer, they are looking for volunteers. And I've been told the waiting list already exceeds more than 10,000 people, believe it or not. I want to run a quick test. Anyone would like to have a brain-computer chips in your brains as part of Elon Musk plan? Raise your hand. Oh, wow. I'm impressed. Actually, there are quite a few. I have to say, I'm not that courageous. I feel very scared. Yeah. But the most interesting thing is Elon Musk is not even the first company who have already done that. On the left, there is a company called Shattering. It's another US company. They are backed by Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. And what they are doing is they have a less invasive brain-computer interface. They use graphene, very special new materials to make the sensor small enough. You can inject it into your blood vessel, and it can be connected with your nerves. And using that, they were able to help paralyzed people to actually communicate with the computer screen without touching the keyboard or mouse, which is really powerful. And then on the right, you can see Tsinghua University, which is like the Oxford-Cambridge version in China. They recently came out with a new invention. They basically put the brain-computer interface as a special material put into your inner ear. There's no need for any kind of surgery. It's just like my pearl earrings. You can wear it 24/7. When you like it, you wear it. You don't like it, you remove it. And there is even a more hilarious application of brain-computer interface also taking place in China in a hospital called Ruijin, one of the top ones in Shanghai. So they have effectively using brain-computer interface to treat people who are clinically diagnosed as depression. And the beauty is when you plug in, you're really happy. When you plug out, you're really not happy. So the challenge for them is how much should you make your patient happy? Because you don't want them to be always happy. That would be too much to manage on a daily basis. So you can see technology is out there, and there are many interesting solutions we can deal with. And I really love this photo because that's two of the richest billionaires of our time. And according to this photo, in the future, they can just look at each other to have a brain-to-brain communication with non-invasive, inner-ear BCI interface. And there is no need for any, phones or other kind of interface. That's quite powerful, right? But all of the amazing things we're talking about, we need to go back to the basics because According to Intel, 2 years ago, they said, in order to unleash the full potential of any kind of digital future, we need at least another 1,000 times computing power. Where do we get that? We already have the solution. You might remember in 2019, Google announced that they have achieved content supremacy, which means they have developed a quantum computer which can run 158 million times faster. Just to put things in perspective, for a very complicated algorithm, which used to need 10,000 years to operate, now it's only 4 minutes. But that was 4 years ago. The second generation was even more powerful, and it can be 241 million times faster than the previous one. And their competitors in other companies, according to their figure, I think this sounds a little bit sales pitch, but basically that they can run instant calculation, which will take their peers 47 years to calculate. Imagine we put this in AI or in digital twin, in all other, like digital transformation tools we are developing. How powerful will that be? And this is actually already happening. So I had a very interesting discussion with Bosch. They are German-based, but with a very big presence globally, with annual turnover of about 88 billion euros. So since last year in July, they have been championing the world's first content digital twin. And what they are doing is they are using this technology to connect 240 factories of over 250,000 devices. And the result has been very significant. It was able to improve their efficiency by 25% just in 1 year alone. So we're talking about like 22 billion for such massive company with global presence. That's staggering. Let's talk about environment. I love anything to do with sustainability because I don't want to be the steamed dumplings in the bamboo case. And let's have a look on the environment impact of the hottest topic of our year, this AI thing. So in 2019, the University of Massachusetts has analyzed the environment impact of AI, and it found out natural language processing models can produce the carbon dioxide 5 times more than the lifetime of the American car, or 300 round trips between San Francisco and New York. I don't know how many of you will have the opportunity to travel 300 times in your lifetime between New York and San Francisco. I don't think even for me, who is on the road most of the time, can make that happen. So you can see, actually, when we try to progress any kind of technology, it shouldn't be at the cost of our environments. So what's the solution? I'm a very positive person. I always believe that we have more solutions than problems. And the solution is already over there. You might remember last year, there is a big announcement from the US and Japan. So lots of paper has been published in Nature, in Science magazine. One of the most interesting one I remember was taking place in February this year. So a group of scientists in Japan and the US, they have been working together to came up with a new mechanism using nuclear fusion to produce non-radioactive electricity, which is carbon emission-free. And according to their latest developments, if they can scale up this kind of technology, it can provide carbon emission-free electricity for our whole planet by another 100,000 years. That's significant. But the only issue is we need to wait till about 2030, the deadline of achieving UN SDG, to have that in the household. So there needs to be something else we are doing. So at this moment, I chair 2 different committees at the United Nations through international telecommunication unions. And we are looking at how to work with 193 different member states to identify the most effective use case on the city level. Because the interesting thing is, at this moment, globally, we have 55% of population living in urban environments. By 2050, that's going to be 80%. If we can provide a tool to municipal governments worldwide, we can solve 80% of the issue of our world. So that's what we are doing. If you have any kind of crazy ideas, bad ideas, good ideas, or solutions, talk to us. we'd love to work together because we can't just only rely on each year of the COP when they're debating how much money did I get to fight climate change, how much money you can give me. That's not going to work, right? I think every one of us, needs to jump into this conversation and start with more responsible consumption on a daily basis and contribute. That's the way forward. It needs to be a bottom-up and top-down approach, and then to work very faster. And also, we shouldn't forget that when we're talking about all these amazing technology advancements, 1/3 of the global population, they are not even connected online. And in Africa and in some part of Asia, 600 million people, they don't have access to stable electricity. Imagine if we don't have electricity here today. There's no presentation. There's no discussion. We'll be looking at each other in complete darkness. That would be horrible, right? So that's why we were working with ITU, part of the UN, to develop the world's first public survey approved by the UN to look at how we can produce a metaverse, a digital infrastructure to benefit all humanities. So if you're interested in getting involved, please scan the QR code. We'll be very grateful. And another thing which I'm really passionate about is AI, of course. So I was very lucky to be appointed as one of the 6 global leaders to join International Science Council. I don't know if any of you are in the world of academia. So they are the world's largest scientific body with a membership of 230 National Academy of Science. So British Society, British Academy, they're all part of it. So our mandate is looking at how AI is going to impact on the global landscape of innovation system across different subject areas. Again, if you have any good ideas, we'd love to work with you. Because, if you want to make things happen, it needs to be a joint effort by all. That's what we're talking about, how we smash the glass ceiling. I think I have 3 different tips for you. The first thing is education. I was once visiting the Buckingham Palace. There is a tour about the story about how Queen Victoria was educated to be one of the greatest leaders of the world at her time. And after that, I felt if every single child, whether it's a girl or boy, they are educated in a way that their parents believe their children can be the leader of any kind of sector they are going to commit themselves to. That's the most powerful education we can give to our children and to ourselves. Because if you don't believe in yourself, no one can believe in you. So if you believe in yourself and always try to push yourself forward and make the impossible possible, and maybe next time Tom Cruise can invite you to join him for his next series of Mission Impossible, because everything is about if there's a will, there's a way. The second thing is really follow your passion. We all know this idea about 10,000 hours, you can become the expert in any kind of field. But if you really enjoy something, continue doing it, and it's only going to get better and better. So really follow your passion. And the third thing we all know, collaborate. You need to work with people you like, but you also need to work with people you particularly do not like. Bear in mind, Winston Churchill said, what does he say? Sorry, I forgot. Winston Churchill said, there is no eternal enemy or eternal friend, but there is definitely eternal interest. So if you can identify common interests with other people, other organizations, and other countries, you can always figure out a way to work together on different projects and achieve mutually beneficial partnership in the longer term. Let's conclude our speech by looking at the major benefits of empowering women. So according to McKinsey, advancing women's equality can add another $12 trillion by 2025. And I think every single one of us here, whether we are already broken the glass ceiling or we are in the process of breaking it, we can all be part of this exciting movement. So I want to conclude my speech by quoting my favorite role model, Steve Jobs. And he said, we are here to put a dent in the universe. Otherwise, why not even be here? I think collectively, every single one of us, men and women, we can work together and help to use technology to make our world a better place for all humanities in a sustainable way. So no one is going to be a happy dumplings in the years to come. Thank you.
With everybody's agreement, I'll take the question that's come up on Slido. We only have one so far, so I'll put it towards you. If our current technology development has put us in the current environmental emergency, why should we continue using technology development to reverse the climate damage?
Oh, that's a very challenging question.
Yeah.
I believe in this kind of like a balance, like yin and yang. So how far can we really push the technology forward to ensure it's actually benefiting all of us? A lot of people working in technology, you know, there is an issue about latency, you know, of any organization. If you want to ask them to get rid of all their existing technology solution platforms and upgrade it into a new one, it's very expensive. And it's the same if, let's say, we do not use any technology tomorrow, would you still want to go to Netflix or Amazon to watch your favorite show about the crown? You know, it's coming out now. Or can we just, you know, unplug all the microwaves? So we have to cook things from scratch, which take a little bit longer. It's about making a balance. I think technology is beautiful, but it's really up to us to decide how we can identify the most effective case to make a balance between make our world sustainable and also we can enjoy the convenience at the same time. Thank you.
Shall we go for the last question that's come through? If you were starting your career now, what would you do?
You mean after university? Join a startup company. Because if you're looking at the case of the lady, I think her name is Mira, and she is currently the CTO of OpenAI, the hottest company in the world. I mean, she joined like Tesla and was, you know, managing their whole like new product line. So there is another really strange saying, I hope you don't mind if I say it. They said, if you put a pig on top of something which is rising fast, even a pig can fly. That's not a terrible, you know, good joke. But you can see if you are in the right place, doing the right thing, you can progress very fast. Yeah. So we need to identify those kind of cutting edge technology area. I mean, my parents always want me to do like 9 to 5 safe job because they say you will have more time with your children, you will have more time, you know, taking care of your husbands. But guess what? I think they're big enough to take care of themselves. And we need to also flourish, right? Let's do it today. Let's do it together. Thank you.